Coronavirus concerns are being felt by millions of unemployed Americans. We check in to see if help is on the way. Plus,
among the flames and the smoke, a father and daughter team from Gallatin Gateway fought the fires that still burn on the Bridger Foothill. I'm Cody Boyer in Gallatin County, talking with them coming up.
And later, on a mission to raise awareness about mental health resources.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks for trusting MTN on this Wednesday night. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Keely Van Mittendorf. Beginning with news around the nation tonight, the coronavirus pandemic is shaking up the presidential election with the publishing of audio tapes where President Trump admitted the virus was more deadly than what he was saying in public.
President Trump defended what he initially told the American public about the severity of coronavirus.
We don't want to instill panic. We don't want to jump up and down and start shouting that we have a problem that is a tremendous problem, scare everybody.
But what the president was saying publicly back in February seems at odds with what he told journalist Bob Woodward in an interview for his new book, Rage, which is published by Simon & Schuster, a division of Viacom CBS. The president admitted to Woodward he downplayed the severity of COVID-19. In an interview to 60 Minutes airing Sunday, Woodward tells Scott Pelley about how he felt about the revelations.
In that February 7th interview, it's clear that the president knows what the stakes are, but he's not sharing that with the public at that time.
Yes, this is the tragedy. A president of the United States has a duty to warn. The public will understand that, but if they get the feeling that they're not getting the truth, then you're going down the path of deceit and cover-up.
Woodward writes that President Trump never seemed willing to mobilize the federal government, preferring to let states handle the crisis. You can see more of Scott Pelley's interview with Bob Woodward this Sunday only on 60 Minutes.
And as millions continue to suffer from the coronavirus pandemic, Congress is debating the next round of relief. But after Republicans unveiled their so-called skinny bill, top Democrats doubt a deal is on the table. Daryl Forges is at the White House as the Trump administration and Congress work to break the stimulus stalemate.
In the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, this has become all too familiar. Long lines of people waiting for food.
Well, it's heartbreaking. And it's an event that we've seen repeat in the months since the pandemic began.
But while some people go without food or without work, Congress is at a crossroads without a deal to provide more COVID relief.
It's a political football game and they're playing with people's lives. All right. And it's wrong.
More than a month after negotiations between the Trump administration and Congress stalled, Republicans unveiled slimmed-down legislation.
So we have put together a new targeted proposal containing several of the most urgent and most popular policies that would help Americans right now.
Dubbed the Skinny Bill, it includes a $300 federal boost for unemployment benefits, extends the Paycheck Protection Program, and provides billions to education.
I wouldn't call it skinny. Their old bill, which was about $1 trillion, was skinny. This one's emaciated.
There's no money for a second round of stimulus checks or for local governments.
There's no money to feed children who can't get food. There's no money to help people who are evicted from their houses.
Despite bipartisan opposition, a vote on the bill is expected Thursday.
It's a vote for senators to say whether they want to move forward toward huge amounts of relief for kids, for jobs, for health care, or whether they are happier doing absolutely nothing.
There's little hope of an agreement before the election. Still, those in need are hopeful for a surprise September compromise.
People are hurting and we need their help.
In Washington, I'm Daryl Forges.
And back in the Treasure State, stories of courage and teamwork are rising along with the smoke from the Bridger Foothills fire in Bozeman.
MTN's Cody Boyer spoke with the fire chief who was there on the first day and for days later with his daughter by his side.
It's like, wow, I had my 16-year-old daughter with me through this.
Jeremiah Hillier has fought fires in Gallatin County for 19 years. Even to him, this was new.
We had four trigger points, and this thing blew by all 4 trigger points. In 19 years, I've never seen the fire behavior anywhere close to that.
And by his side, driving through the haze, was Cheyenne.
She's been with us now
2 years. years.
2 years?
Cheyenne has ridden with her dad since she was 2. With the help of a Boy Scout Explorer program, she's been able to help the department, but wasn't prepared for this.
My dad calls home and he's like, get Cheyenne going. I'm gonna need her help tomorrow. And I'm sitting here like, okay, cool. I get to tag along on this fire, and it was definitely something I wasn't prepared for.
I can truly say we saved 2 houses up behind the fire station by doing work after dark. That was our safe zone. We had to protect that firehouse. That was where we were safe.
Teams worked quickly, but the fire also targeted them and the Bridger Canyon Fire Station itself. Working together, Jeremiah, Cheyenne, and the team stopped the fire just short of the station.
You see things in this fire that you don't hear stories about.
The father-daughter team, like others in the heat, even had to sleep in the truck.
She was able to lighten the mood and bring the reality back to, hey, we're doing the best we can. So it was really great to have her in the truck with me.
16, I was really hoping to have a nice, easy sophomore year of high school. I'm super proud of our community. It came together when we needed it to.
Now, even though the space might be a little bit small, Cheyenne does say that she would do it all over again. In Gallatin County, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Thanks, Cody. And Cheyenne says she plans to continue with the Explorer program for at least the next 2 years.
Students and families in Great Falls Public Schools are dealing with a lot this week. 4 coronavirus cases were confirmed. There was also a major network outage. It comes as ransomware attacks are shutting down school in other parts of the country. Superintendent Tom Moore says the cause of the outage is still unknown, but there's no evidence that it's ransomware. The district has called in specialists and experts. Moore says remote learning is still possible because many platforms are still up and running. It all comes the same week that 2 students tested positive for the coronavirus at Great Falls High School. A student at Paris Gibson Education Center also tested positive, and so did a student at East Middle School. East Middle School Principal Brad Behringer says this is like nothing he's ever dealt with.
First time in, I think, 20 years for me where we've been shut down with everything. You know, we're used to having one of our programs down, but we're not used to the whole system being shut down.
Contact tracing is underway at East, Paris Gibson, and Great Falls High School. Well, we're continuing to warm up here in the Treasure State, and our meteorologist Grant Garland, who's celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Grant, is here to tell us more.
All right, thank you, Tim. Yeah, 28. I feel like I'm going on 80. Anyways, yeah, we did see a warm day today. Temperatures currently, though, 54 degrees in Great Falls, 53 in Helena. A lot cooler out towards Lewistown at 44 degrees. But what did we actually see today? Well, we saw temperatures right around 70 degrees in both the electric and capital cities, 72 in Havre, 66 in Lewistown, and around 67 in Billings. As far as our winds are concerned, well, we are looking at calm winds for Jordan, 5-mile-per-hour winds in Cut Bank, and only 8 in Great Falls and 7 in Helena. Over the last 3 hours, we have been looking at clear skies. What you're seeing right now, that's due to bugs as well as birds and trees. 41 degrees tonight in Great Falls as well as Helena, looking at 42 in Havre and 44 in Hayes, 43 in Glasgow and 40 in Jordan. Now coming up, we're going to talk about what to expect for the rest of your work week, but for now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Grant. We'll check back in with you soon. In our Crime Watch tonight, the Glacier County Sheriff's Office has released new details about a high-speed chase that ended with a suspect being shot in Valier. Here's a picture from that scene last week. On Friday, officers began a chase of the suspect in Glacier County involving a reported stolen vehicle. The suspect, whose name has not been released, tried to run several vehicles off the road during the chase and led officers into Valier. The suspect got out of the vehicle armed with a knife. That's when a deputy shot the suspect. The nature and extent of the person's injuries have not yet been released. Well, still to come on the 10 o'clock news, local craft beers brewed with local craft hops.
Your Montana Ag Report is next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. It's that time of year when fresh hop beers start showing up at your favorite local breweries.
In tonight's Montana Ag Report, MTN's Sean Wells takes us to a hop farm in Big Fork where peak harvest is underway.
I'm Sean Wells in Big Fork, where Montana hops are in peak harvest, an exciting time for Flathead Valley beer lovers.
It has always been the goal to have craft hops for craft brewers so that they can make beers made with all Montana ingredients.
Big Sky Hop Farms, part of Big Sky Orchards in Big Fork, are one of the biggest hop-producing farms in the Flathead Valley. The farm consists of 10 acres of hop fields growing 6 individual strains of hops. The family-owned business sells fresh hops to local breweries during harvest and also dry pellet hops that can be sold year-round.
Some of those hops are bittering hops, which would be used in IPAs and pale ales, and others are aroma hops, which are used in all beers, but just like the Saaz, for example, is used in Pilsner beers. So lots of different varieties for lots of different beers.
Along with hops, the Jones family also farmed cherries along Flathead Lake. Zach Jones studied horticulture at Montana State University and says harvesting both hops and cherries is a full-time job for both he and his sister Maddie.
Tossing around the idea of growing hops, and that might be a pretty good industry to get in up here, especially with cherries, and you never really know how harvest is going to go there, so it kind of split us up and allowed us to do 2 different crops.
This is the 3rd year the Jones family are harvesting hops, in the first season using their own processing facility. The facility includes the Wolf Hop Harvester, which they acquired with an agriculture grant through the state of Montana. The Wolf Harvester separates hop cones from vines onto a conveyor belt. Hops are then dried, which takes 8 to 10 hours to reach the correct dry matter level. Each acre here at Big Sky Orchards can produce up to a ton of dry hops, which frankly is making me thirsty. In Big Fork, Sean Wells, MTN News.
And Big Sky Hops Farm recently delivered 75 pounds of hops to Glacier Brewing in Polson for a batch of fresh hop beer.
Well, on Tuesday, the Air Force awarded a $13.3 billion contract for the ground-based strategic deterrent to Northrop Grumman. The company will begin replacing the aging ICBM missile system with the GBSD starting in June of 2023. While construction at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Great Falls won't begin until 2026, the project and the development it brings in will have a huge impact on the local economy. That's according to Chamber of Commerce President Shane Etzweiler.
The impact's going to be tremendous. I mean, it's going to bring in jobs in the community, and of course, the economic impact is going to be tremendous as well. You know, we don't know the actual number right now at this point, but when the Air Force says it's going to be an $80 billion project, we're going to get a pretty big piece of that pie.
Officials at Malmstrom told MTN that they will begin working on environmental impact statements in October or November.
Well, a low pressure building down towards the south. Will this bring any rain to our area? Don't go away. Your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
An effort by a local nonprofit to beautify some properties is underway. Wednesday was the first day of NeighborWorks Great Falls community cleanup.
And through Saturday, volunteers will be looking to do things like weeding and tree trimming for NeighborWorks. They told MTN News they were glad to be outdoors enjoying the warmer weather after a recent cold snap and were able to make the event safe for everyone. NeighborWorks officials hope to start having the event in the spring again next year. And if you're wanting to do some yard work, you're in luck.
It was a Tinder date that just didn't go well. We said goodbye, you know, we swiped right, or swiped left rather. Observed highs today. Well, we didn't get up to what we typically see for this time of year. We saw 70-degree temperatures in both Great Falls as well as in Helena, and 66 in Lewistown, 67 in Billings, and 70 in Glasgow, 72 out towards Havre. The average for this time of year is right around 73 degrees, so we weren't too far off the bat with that. The record, though, was set back in 1981 when it was 92 degrees that year. Also, apparently the year that the Jaws game was around $8. I was looking at some of those things from the early 80s. Wow, very interesting. Currently temperatures 54 degrees in the Electric City, 53 in the capital. You head on out towards Glasgow, 55 degrees and 51 right now in Havre, 44 in Lewistown, really cold there. Over the past 24 hours, we've been looking at our winds out of the north that has helped push the smoke that has been able to push the smoke down towards the south and also keep it out towards the west. That has also allowed for us to have good air quality, except for right now looking at the area in Malta, looking at moderate levels of air quality, as well as down towards Bozeman. But for the rest of the Treasure State, I mean, we're looking at pretty good situations. Over the last few hours, we've been seeing clear skies, no problems there, and that will be the continuing trend as we go throughout the night. That will allow for our temperatures to drop down, even cooler than what they would be if there was any wind and cloud cover. So we are expecting again another cold night. As far as our driest time tomorrow, well, we're looking at right around the 3 o'clock hour, seeing 21% humidity, and that being our driest time. But notice our temperatures as well as our winds gusting, that we aren't going to really have a problem with it. We are still going to be dry, but we're not going to see as much of a problem as we could have if those were warmer and breezier. Going throughout the day tomorrow, seeing 5 to 10 mile per hour winds gusting, possibly 20 mile an hour winds in Havre, but other than that, we should be pretty fine. It's going to be all calm for the most part, and here's why. It's because of this high pressure that's going to continue to influence our entire area over the next 48 hours and really into the weekend. We do have a low pressure that does develop, though, tomorrow in the evening, and as it starts to move up, we actually will see a few showers possible. This model has the low pressure shift just a little bit more towards the west, so those in the southeastern part of the Treasure State could be looking at maybe a few showers or whatnot. Unfortunately, though, we in the central and north central Montana aren't going to see any rain from this, which is sad because we did get a good bit of rain on Monday and we desperately needed it, but we'll take what we can get. We'll be thankful for that. Over the next 7 days, we're going to warm up to around 88 degrees by Monday before quickly dropping back down to 75 on Tuesday and 73 on Wednesday. During that system that moves in on Tuesday, we could be looking at a isolated chance to scattered chances for showers. You can always stay weather aware by following me, though, on social media at Meteorologist Grant Garland on Facebook and downloading that free KRTV app. Tonight, temperatures falling down to 39 degrees in Lewistown, 41 in Great Falls, 44 in Helena, out towards Glendive, 37 degrees. As far as tomorrow, the morning commute, 44 degrees. You might need to have an extra layer with you, a light jacket possibly, and you won't have to wear it long because we're going to see 70-degree temperatures coming back into play by 1 p.m. with sunny skies. Overall, looking at 76 degrees in the Electric City, 77 towards the capital, 74 in Butte, 73 in Lewistown, and 76 out towards Glasgow. Over the next 3 days, temperatures will stay in the lower 80s. If only we could go back to that time, though, right? We will see clouds build in on Monday, mostly sunny skies, mostly cloudy, though, on Tuesday with a chance of isolated showers. Keely.
Taking place later this month to raise awareness about available mental health resources. MTN's Coulter Ainstead tells us about the organizers' personal experience that motivated this walk.
Woo! Yeah! Matt Lapke is happy, swinging his son on the playground. Wow. He hasn't always been so happy, though.
You ready? Yeah. You gotta hang on tight.
About 4 years ago, he, his wife, and their young son were hit by a drunk driver.
Matt sustained a pretty significant brain injury. After that injury, it triggered some, mental health issues, some depression and crisis.
His wife, Brenna, is the chair of the local chapter of the National Alliance for Mental Illness. She and her husband only recently found out about the organization, which is why she's organizing a walk on September 20th.
Had I known back then about the advocacy that NAMI can provide and the caregiver support groups and the peer support groups that they offer, it would have been a game changer. And so I don't want, it's very important to us to get that information out there.
The walk is also a fundraiser for NAMI.
More? All right.
For Matt, who grew up in Great Falls, the possibility of support for NAMI and the local chapter growing as a result of the walk puts a smile on his face.
We have veterans and we have young kids, old dads, moms, everybody that have these problems in this town specifically. It would mean a lot to me if we could get together and make this happen. Just be, whatever we can do. I don't exactly even know what that would be yet, but it would be great.
The walk will have many steps, each one another step in the journey to healing. In Great Falls, Coulter Ainstead, MTN News.
Thanks, Coulter. And for more information about the National Alliance for Mental Illness or the local walk, you can check out this story on our websites.
Coming up, CM Russell sets to open the season on Friday night. We'll have a preview.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. There will be Friday night football at Memorial Stadium this week when CMR hosts Belgrade.
MTN's Isaiah Dunk caught up with the Rustlers ahead of the season opener.
At long last, it's finally game week for the CMR Rustlers, and that's welcome news for a team that's had a lot to get used to, even with 2 extra weeks of practice.
We've just been beating each other up for it seems on months now, so it's good to finally hit somebody else and, beat somebody else.
Rafe Newbro will be starting at quarterback for the Rustlers on Friday against Belgrade. And while he's glad it's finally game time, there's no doubt the extra practice has helped as the team gets used to a new system under Coach Dennis Morris.
We have to build chemistry within each other and trust each other that we're going to be there and do our job. We have a new offense, which everybody has bought into, so we should be able to move the ball, and it's quick and it's fast, so we should be able to tire the defense.
As the new offense looks to start fast, Coach Morris believes the biggest key to starting 1-0 will actually be on the other side of the ball.
I just believe it's in the defensive line. We have the most returning starters right there. Those guys are mean and they're nasty, and they didn't have to learn quite as much with a new system on defense there too. So they've had a lot of time to just hone in and really refine what they're doing there.
On a personal level, Morris would love to start his tenure as head coach with a win, but he said the bigger goal is to live up to the tradition of the Rustler program, something this team has bought into.
Learning everything brand new too. Every day coming out to practice is just fun because you can see the improvement from last night. And the kids are doing a phenomenal job watching their film after practice and getting their corrections from their coaches and actually making those corrections.
In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
CMR hosts Belgrade at Memorial Stadium at 7 o'clock on Friday. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Temperatures tonight falling down to 41 degrees in Great Falls, 43 in Helena, and looking at 42 in Havre. All in all, as we wake up tomorrow morning, 44-degree temperatures quickly turning to 70 by 1 p.m. We will be looking at temperatures warming up to 77 altogether in Helena, as well as in Cut Bank, 79 in Havre, and 76 in Great Falls. As we head throughout the next 7 days, know that our temperatures are going to stay a little bit warmer than the average, with a few chances of showers on Tuesday.
Thanks, Grant. Well, the White House is getting a jump start on the holiday season. Planning is already underway for the traditional Christmas decorating of the White House. First Lady Melania Trump and President Trump are asking for volunteers from the public to help.
And they're also looking for musicians, choirs, and Christmas-themed entertainers to perform during holiday open houses. White House says social distancing will be observed. Volunteers will be expected to wear masks and use hand sanitizer. Details on how to volunteer can be found on the White House website.
All right. I feel like, Grant, you would be perfect. Just got to get yourself a little pair of elf ears and a little trumpet.
Goodness gracious.
That's all the time we have tonight at 10. Thanks so much for watching.
Good night.